Silva and welcome to Molé Mama. We're making chorizo and papa pizza. My Tio Pete used to make this amazing chorizo pizza and he's gone on to heaven. This recipe is inspired from him. He would always show up with these ginormous pizzas with chorizo on them and cheese, and he made his own dough and they were just amazing. This is a recipe that I created, but again inspired from my amazing Tio Pete. And I'm not a baker, he was an amazing baker. But I found some really great pizza dough. So you can see that it's rising here and it comes from Whole Foods. They have this brand called La Manica. This is the dough they actually use when they're making their own pizza, so it's really, really good. They have a gluten-free version as well as the whole wheat. I have tried all three. I would say that if you don't have any dietary restrictions, just their regular one is really amazing, and it's going to give you basically an artisan dough. And all you do is you take it out of the freezer, you put a little olive oil on it, and you let it defrost. And so I have a couple here that I took out a few hours ago, probably about 4 hours now, and they're starting to rise and they're completely defrosted and they have some olive oil on them. And then we're going to be topping them with some chorizo. Chorizo is a Mexican spicy sausage. The best place to buy your chorizo is in a Latin market. And if you go in there, go to the meat counter and ask for chorizo suelto, loose chorizo. So it doesn't come in the casing and then you don't have to deal with trying to take it out later, but it just comes ready to go. And I am actually going to be cooking this in just a moment for our pizza. I'm also going to be grilling some yellow onions, so I've sliced these very thin and they're ready to go as well. And some little red potatoes that I've sliced, so we're going to fry those. And some garlic. We're also going to use manchega cheese. So manchega cheese is a really mild cheese. You do want to cut off this that comes on it, so you make sure that you cut that off. You don't want to grate that. The wonderful thing about manchega cheese, it's a very mild cheese. I like to use the 3-month. There's 3 months, 6 month, 9 month, but I would try to use the younger cheese because then it's not as strong. I've really tried to come up with a recipe with balance so you don't have one flavor overpowering the other, but you're just getting this nice blend of these yummy flavors. The other great thing about manchega cheese, it's not very oily, so you're not going to get one of those soggy pizzas sometimes you've probably had. I know I have. If you like to make pizza at home, I highly recommend you buying your own pizza pan. This is, I think, under $20 on Amazon, and it has lots of ventilation, as you can see in the front and the back. So the air is going to come through it, it's going to cook really quickly, and also it's going to bubble up your dough, and it's just going to make it so delicious. The other tool that I wanted to point out for today, because I always want to show you tools, old tools and new tools, but Molé Man found this for me. And when he first gave it to me, I'm like, what is that? So it's basically an aluminum stone. And I cook, as you can see, with a lot of garlic, onions, peppers, and often that smell gets into my hands. But all you do is you take this with a little soap and water, and when you're washing it, rub it together, and voila, your hands don't smell. And I know I was not a believer, but it really works, you guys, if you want to give that a try. And here's our onions. I put them in a skillet with just a little bit of olive oil, maybe a couple tablespoons. This is 2 yellow onions that I sliced up, and a little bit of sea salt. And in a moment, you're going to see that these are going to turn nice and golden brown. Okay, here's some of our potatoes. I'm frying them. It's pretty high heat. I'm going to actually put them in a bowl with some parchment paper to drain out some of this oil, but you do want to cook them all the way through. And we're going to try and get a little nice golden brown on them as well. Okay, our chorizo is cooking up nicely. What you want to do with your chorizo is that you want to make sure that you're breaking it up into small little pieces as it cooks. And I have my fire up pretty high, so you can see it's bubbling away. It smells so good. I also added a little bit of garlic, granulated garlic to it, and just a little bit of chipotle pepper because I like it hot and spicy. Okay, and our chorizo is done. We're going to take it off. We'll take it off the stove and let it set, and then I'm going to use it on our pizza in a few minutes. And you can see how much our onions are broken down. Pan is completely full, and they're starting to brown a little bit. See how nice and brown they're getting? Oh, yum. So here's our garlic, and I am just doing it in a little bit of olive oil just for a few seconds. It gets brown really, really fast. You don't want to overdo it because then it's going to get bitter. And it's also going to cook a little bit more onto our pizza. So we're just going to drop it in basically and pop it out here. Okay, these are all done. We're going to take those off as well. It is chorizo and papa pizza time. Time to put all of this magic together. So we have our yummy grilled onions. We have our chorizo, our spicy pork sausage. And we have some yummy red potatoes, the papas that I fried in some olive oil. And our garlic is ready to go. We also cooked that for a few minutes in some olive oil. And here is our dough. It's gotten much bigger since the last time we looked at it. Put some flour on it. I like to just throw flour in a bowl. It's probably from the days I used to make tortillas with my mom. And make sure you get lots of flour on your board. And we are ready to roll it out. This is my rolling pin that my dad made for me, which is kind of special and very wonderful. I have a homemade rolling pin, and it is really heavy duty, so it makes rolling anything pretty easy. So I'm probably rolling this more like a tortilla because that's what I know how to do. Let's make tortillas. I don't know if you can see this, but it's got some bubbles in it, and it's just fantastic dough. I like it on the thin side, so I'm going to really roll mine out quite a bit. You can see I'm just going back and forth over it. Okay, that's probably close enough. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pizza pan and I'm going to spray it with a little bit of Pam just because I find that it comes up a lot easier if I do that. Saw that was just a tiny little bit amount of non-stick. I'm also just going to make a little bit of mess on my counter. I'm going to add a little bit of cornmeal. And that's going to give my flour a little bit of that texture that I was talking about earlier that I love to have the texture. And then I dropped it in. And see what happened? It kind of went all over the place, not really round. But I'm going to work it with my hands. And I'm going to make it look. So I have a template now to use. A little pattern with my pizza pan. I'm going to get it all in there. There, you can see it. Voila. I'm also going to throw just a little bit more of that cornmeal on it just because I like that texture. And then I am making pizza that doesn't have a sauce. I'm going to just drizzle some olive oil. You can see this. I'm just going to, I have a brush. I'm just brushing it on. Getting it all over the place. Okay, Now you can see I have a nice coating of olive oil on there. Next, I'm going to put our manchego cheese, that 3-month cheese that I was telling you about. So here it goes. And I'm just spreading it out as evenly as I possibly can. There's our cheese. I'm going to take our grilled onions and drizzle some of that. When I was cooking all of this, I did it in stages. I usually do my onions and my chorizo first. Makes it much easier to handle those hot onions. They're not too hot anymore, which is nice. All right. And you can see our onions. And I'm going to lay in some of our yummy red potatoes. I'm just going to break them apart and layer them on, kind of like you would do pepperoni, but they're potatoes. It's good to do these also a little bit earlier in the process because they're going to cool down for you and be easier to handle. And here is our potatoes. So now we have the cheese, the onions, the potatoes, base of olive oil. We are going to put a little bit of garlic. I am going to use a little spoon for that. So I have to go there a couple of times. Just sprinkling a little bit of garlic on here. And this is just an idea for a recipe. If you're not a fan of garlic, if you're not a fan of onions, you can do whatever you like. And the last thing I'm going to put on is our chorizo. I'm just sprinkling it, as you can see. Oh, it smells so good. It smells so good. Here is our papas and chorizo pizza, ready for the oven. I set my oven to 425. Whole Foods says to do it to 450, but my oven just gets really, really hot, and I'm going to do it for 11 minutes. And we're going to have yummy pizza here in just a minute. All right, here is our pizza. I just took it out of the oven. It smells amazing. Yum. Oh my gosh, it smells so good, you guys. And I cut a little piece out of it. It's right here. I'm not even going to plate it. I'm just going to take a bite for you. Mmm. Mmm. Yum. Thanks so much for watching today. And if you decide to make my new recipe of chorizo and papas pizza, please post photos to Instagram or Facebook so I can see what you've done. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Que Dios te bendiga. Bye.